Alright everyone, I am working on panel line accents with the real grade Zaku. Okay, I am using Payne's Gray Artist Color oils. It's not real gray. The label right there supposed to show the color, but it's more of a blackish blue. What I have here is a bottle cap. I got a little bit of oil paint out on a toothpick, and I've put some odorless terpenoid in there. And I'm using the Q-tip to apply the oil paint, and I'm using paper towel to wipe it off with. And this is what I'm trying for. I'm just trying to barely accent the panel lines. I'm not trying to get them to stand out heavily, but I'm trying to get them to show a little bit. Alright? And in a minute, I'm going to set this up and show you how it works. And there is some streaking and stuff appearing on here because of the way I'm doing that, but that's okay. I don't mind the streaking. Alright? And I'm going to work my way around this entire Zaku with this stuff and get all the panel lines to accent. You can see them everywhere on there. And it'll help hide some of the tide marks and stuff. And then once that paint dries, which will be next week, because oil paints take about a week to dry, I will do the decal work. So this isn't going to be a quick process. I mean, it's not bad doing the oil painting. It just takes a long time to dry. One of the happy things, though, is if I don't like it, I can put some terpenoid on that piece of paper towel and just wipe this right off immediately. Okay? So I'm going to get at this. I'm going to set the tripod up in a little bit and actually show you what I'm doing. Here is a good view of what I'm doing. Here is the before, and here's the after. And you can see the oil paints really are not changing the color, but they're accenting all the little panel lines and access points on it. And they're making them stand out just a little bit better. And that's all I wanted the oil paints to do. Okay? It removes some of the toy-like look. And again, once they're dry, then I'm going to put decals on. Then I'm going to hit it again with the oil paints. But you can see the difference in the after and the before really easily. And this is simple to do. Here's what I'm doing. I'm taking a Q-tip and I'm dabbing it in here. Now I put too much terpenoid in here, so I'm dabbing the Q-tip where most of the paint is. Okay? And then I'm just brushing this stuff on in the recesses with the Q-tip. Now you can see the oil paint where it's really loaded up with the terpenoid just flows down the panel lines really well. Now some of you armor builders are going to say, well, I do the same thing with AK Interactive products, and you are. I won't argue with that. You're pretty much doing the exact same thing. And they're enamels, and they're dry within hours. That's all good stuff. And I know you can do the same thing with enamel paints. I just prefer the oil paints because if I don't like it, an hour from now, I can come in here and just strip the thing off and completely redo it. And with an enamel paint, an hour from now, if I don't like it, I'm stuck with it. I'm a little old school this way. And some people are like, well, you can't get consistency from model to model. I don't want consistency from model to model. I want each model to look different. Because in real life, they would look different.
How do you strip oil paint?
Terpenoid.
And the acrylic you can't.
Well, the enamel you can, but the problem is the enamel stripper will strip most other paints.
Oh. So you'd end up stripping what's the color that's on there?
Yeah, well this isn't really painted, so I'm using the native color of the plastic. So there's no issues here, okay? Mm-hmm. And I don't have to worry about it stripping any of this. Not at all. But oil paint is not compatible with acrylics. The thinners and everything are different. So I could put oil paint over an acrylic all day long and never really hurt the underlying layer once the acrylic's cured. And the terpenoid won't touch the acrylics. So that's one of the reasons why I like weathering with oil paints. I got a lot of time. It's not consistent. Well, model to model shouldn't be consistent.
Right. I like that.
Okay. And that's the biggest complaint I'm hearing out of people is that their models, they like the consistency. They like it's pre-mixed. They don't like guesswork. You do this enough, there's no guesswork.
If you like it consistent, then you just build it like you did and leave it and don't paint it.
Well,
everything's the same color.
The armor builders, they build a lot of tanks, and they like consistent results. They like being able to pull a bottle off the shelf. It's ready. You paint it on. You remove it. You've got your weathering done. It's quick, easy. It's a shake and bake methodology. And I'm not saying there's something wrong with that, because there isn't. Okay?
So it just comes down to preference.
It comes down to preference. Right. I have not tried the products they're using. I will admit that. So I might have some bias towards this way, because I've not tried their methodology.
Yeah, you have not tried green eggs and ham.
Exactly. And I'm going to get some comments along those lines. You haven't tried it, so you don't know what you're talking about. It's really nice stuff, and I'm sure it is. But I've tried this, and I get almost the same results they do, working the same amount of working time. But if I don't like it, I can strip it.
Gotcha.
Quicker and easier. And they have to worry about different layers of paint, so they don't have interactions, and I don't. So that's why I do it this way. And I've completely zoomed this thing poorly the whole time we were talking, because somehow or another I hit the extended zoom and this thing said, yes buddy, we're doing it.
You're gonna make all your subscribers go get their eyes checked.
Yeah, there it goes. It's coming back. Sorry guys, that wasn't intentional. I didn't know I had the camera by the zoom button. But anyhow, I will film a little bit more of this. But you can see, as I wipe the oil paint off, what it's doing. And for you Gunpla builders, you Gundam builders, this is a very easy way of accenting these panel lines with little or no effort. I mean, look at that. That's beautifully done, in my opinion. Okay, and I'm just smearing this stuff on. I'm not attempting to be nice with it. Here, I'll do some here, now that we got the camera back where you can see what I'm doing. This is all I'm doing. Putting this stuff on like this. Again, it's a bottle cap. I got some oil paint out of the tube with that, and some turpenoid. And one of the things people complain about is this tube of oil paint is $10. That turpenoid is $12. There's $22 just for those two. But this tube of oil paint, I'll never replace it. It doesn't dry out like most paints do. So it might be a bit pricey at the beginning, but again, it's going to last me quite some time.
Where do you get these pointed Q-tips?
Cosmetic section.
Ah,
yeah. I went exploring the cosmetic section one day.
Do you paint with them much?
No, I mainly use them for cleanup work. I'm kind of painting with them right now on the Gundam, though. It's kind of what I'm doing right now. I see Mommy took over the TV downstairs. It's on Home Garden Network, Mommy's favorite channel. All right, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and quit filming. But you get the idea. You just take your paper towel and wipe it. And don't press down very hard. It does clean the surface oil out, leaving it in the recesses. Okay?
Are there any small brushes available?
Yeah. Let me stop. The Zaku time. I'm done with the oil paints on Mr. Zaku. Now, you can see it took some of the shine off the plastic. It's now satin instead of gloss. And you can also see it accented the panel lines very well, and that's all I was looking for. Looks a little sloppy in a few places on his arms. And that's the nature of the parts more than anything, and how they work together. But I like how this turned out. He's going to go sit on a shelf and cure for a few days. And I can start the decal work on him. And I'm thinking about building a base with him for him. And, well, if he'll stand up straight. There he goes. I'm going to use these trees. Don't want to stand up. That's one of the problems. The feet aren't quite big enough for the size of this guy. You know, it's like having size 6 feet when you're 6 foot tall. But I think I'm going to use these trees with him on a woodland base.
Okay. So is that a scaling problem that they did with the model?
use the alcohol.
It really should have.
Oh, this is from an anime,
Yes.
a Japanese cartoon.
Right. Right.
Since it's from a Japanese cartoon, they drew it in a cartoon. They didn't match reality in the cartoon.
Gotcha.
And they took the computer model from the cartoon and made the actual model from it.
Wow.
So, either that or they made a model from the cartoon.
Gotcha.
But it's the exact same proportions as the cartoon.
That
So.
sure means a lot. I mean, you know, my wing back here was not in proportion, and so this company made a retrofit for it.
Exactly.
You can see that makes a difference.
Yes, because the model people want it to match what they see. The World War II people want their models to match what they saw. The Star Wars people want...
Everything.
That's the thing about Star Wars models. The Empire kept them clean. The Rebels didn't. So you got the whole different world in every Star Wars model. Okay, well, we're going to go because this is the last video of the Zaku for today. He has got to cure up. All right, we're working on Mr. Gundam here. And the decal work is going very slow. The decal sheet, and you can tell I have hardly dented this thing. There's like 150 tiny little decals on this thing. And just slowly working my way around the directions. I should be checking them off the directions as I put them on, I think. But yeah, I'll get it figured out. Trying to work in order, the directions are not where you can really work this in order. Because if you look, I could work down the page this way and then come up this way. But somehow I got started on the arms because I was trying to finish all this one off. And I got to flip him over and do all that on the other side too. But then I got started on the arms because some of the decals here went here. Yeah, so it's just been a mess. I just wanted to let you guys know this. Now, a little bit of them you can see right there where the decal went over the weathering. So I'm going to have to come back and re-weather that. But I wanted to put some weathering on him anyhow when I was done, especially around the feet. So it's not really that big of an issue. There's just a lot of tiny little decals, and this is very time consuming. I've been at this for an hour and a half now, and I feel like I've made little progress. But that's the way it is, and I got my trusty microsol right there. I'm only using the microsol on certain decals because they are kind of a pain, and they're in bad locations, but for the most part, I'm not. Alright, be back in a little while. Unfortunately, there's going to be so much wind noise, this video isn't going to pick up much of the talking. Bibi, is it too windy to be out here today? No? There's a nice set of buildings. Go along. Not really going too far out. Water-wise. We are on a boat. I know it's going to be too windy for much talking. But there's the aircraft carrier, the Lexington. We're headed over there to the aquarium. And we're about to go across the ship channel. We have a BB and a mommy. Real windy today. Not as warm as yesterday either. I know it's going to be too windy for much talking. But there's the aircraft carrier, the Lexington. We're headed over there to the aquarium. And we're about to go across the ship channel. We have a BB and a mommy.
real windy today. Not as warm as yesterday either.